Hello, you're listening to Got Clutter, Get Organized, a podcast that focuses on helping you create space to attract more money, love, and happiness in your life. I am your host, Janet M. Taylor, and I want to say hello if you're a regular listener and welcome if you're listening for the very first time. I hope you are having a great week. If you enjoy listening to this podcast, please leave a review so I can continue bringing you episodes each week. This week's comment is, great show. Thank you for sharing your insights with us. Well, in this episode, I have a fellow professional organizer, Kimberly Hairston Neal from the Modern Steward, and she's going to be sharing strategies on how we can organize our garages. And of course, I will be sharing my product, app, repurpose, and book suggestion for the week. And my question for you this week is, what is the one area in your garage you should organize? I know you're probably like, Janet, I need to organize the entire thing, but the one area you need to organize. So some statistics is that home organization study done by Moan, which is the top faucet brand, and I probably mispronounced it, so I apologize, found that the garage was the most cluttered space in the home. Another survey conducted by the National Association of Professional Organizers found that 50% of homeowners named the garage as the most disorganized area in the house, which is why I wanted to bring on the expert. Kimberly and her husband Larry are the owners of the Modern Steward. Now, Larry is a licensed contractor specializing in the installation of their custom system and the electrical field. He took the leap of faith and became a business owner in 2013. It took Kimberly a total of 6 months to transition. She started offering personal assistance services on a limited basis in January of 2014. As local business picked up fast, professional organizing service was added. At the demand and constant requests from her clients, Kimberly officially resigned from her 9-to-5 in July of 2014, and little by little, they became the niche out their life, and they enjoy it and allow them to pour into other families as well. So, I'm going to tell you right now, you better get your pen. You better get your tablet, whatever, take some notes. Also, you may want to share this with somebody on some strategies from Kimberly on how to organize that garage. Well, listeners, hello. I'm excited because I have Kimberly Hairston Neal, and she's going to be talking to us about the garage. You know, that place where you keep saying you're going to get into, and then as soon as it gets cold outside, the next thing you know, you're thinking, why didn't we do the garage? So, Kimberly, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you.
So before we get into the strategies and what to let go of, what made you decide to get into the field of organizing?
I was looking for a new career path in 2010. My husband and I blended our family, and I thought I valued my time, but I realized how much more I valued my time. So our union, produced a beautiful blended family, but with that came some challenges. And so as I looked at how I could gain back my time, I decided that I needed to make a career shift. Um, Organizing has always been one of my strong suits. It's something that I did in my secular career as an administrator um, at the health facility that I was working at. And I found that even there, people relied on me for my organizational skills.
I know exactly what you feel because I remember before I decided to take the plunge, I realized everybody in the office, when they couldn't find something like the stapler on their desk, they were like, well, Janet, can I borrow yours? Because we can't find ours. So I truly know. So the garage is that
Yes.
big space that, sometimes people don't realize they need to get it organized until they look outside and the snow is out there and they realize, why couldn't I park the car in the garage? So what are
hmm
some of the issues in regards to garage? Like what are some things we should just definitely let go of or even just overall, what is like some of the blockage when it comes to just rolling up our sleeves and getting in there?
I would say my first piece of advice is to always go for, we've heard it said before, but the low hanging fruit. And, other words, quick wins. Um, when it comes to the garage, unlike other areas within the home, you may find that there are quite a few items that you can move through rather quickly. You don't have as much emotional attachment. It's just been something you've been putting off. And so, for example, these are things such as those empty Amazon boxes, right? we all just toss out there. Um, it could be that simple. I know that a lot of my clients, or like I say, they inherit, but the previous owner thinks they're doing you a favor by leaving you every paint color in the home, right? And then you don't use it, it's there. That would be another example, right? Things like that, so that you can quickly gain real estate. This will also give you room to work on the other items that may take you more time to work through.
And it's interesting how you said that other stuff that the previous owner left us. It's like they feel, like you said, they feel like they're doing us a favor with the paint chips or maybe a piece of this or a piece of that. And you
Yes.
never really use it because you come in with a whole new ideal and design, look and feel. So you are so right with that. Wow.
Mhm.
So when it comes to the garage, what are some things? So you already said the low hanging fruit in regards to getting rid of stuff, but what about the organizing in and of itself? Because it's such a large space, and sometimes people can get a little overwhelmed because they may see the tricycle that the child rode, but
Mm.
unfortunately, the child is like in their 20s now and all of that
Right.
stuff. So, how do you just like kind of organize it?
So I have two approaches. The first approach, I am what I would say a master delegator. So if you can get your family involved, your partner, whoever it is that resides in the home, or maybe that previously resided in the home. For a few hours and say, hey, I'm thinking about tackling this space. And if you would like to have a say so on what happens to these items, right? Can you join me on this date or time, or ask them what is a convenient time? I think that having assistance is key, so that you're taking some of the pressure off of yourself to make some of these decisions. And so that would be my first piece of advice. If you have items that don't just belong to you, that may belong to other people. The second piece of advice, I know that we all, especially, what should be spring now, feel that this is a spring project, right? I'm going to do this Saturday. Be realistic. In reality, it did not happen overnight. And so it may take more than one session. As you're working through the items, in particular, I like to categorize items that are high value, right, and that are low value, because we have to equate our time with a certain amount of value. And so, everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, but some people think that the best direction is to try to recoup, right, some of their expenses, whether that's a garage sale or Facebook Marketplace, right? But once you've done the exercise of assigning a value to your time and you look at the item, 9 times out of 10, it's depreciated, right? Um, you can make a decision on if that should be about a buy or sell item, because I hear other professionals sometimes say, okay, we're going to just make three piles, right? Trash, donate, and sell. But I would backtrack on that. I really, really feel strongly about that, because if you sell an item for $25, but you had to invest in taking a picture, listing the item, possibly dropping the item off or scheduling time for the person to come back and pick it up, did you make money? Right? In a sense of, having a value to our time, or did you lose it? I am also, I don't know if you know, but part of our business, it makes us a little different, because we are very, very big on discard and donate. And so I educate my clients on understanding that each item has a lifespan. and being okay with that, the value that you got out of the item, the value that was attended, because sometimes we get this thought in our head that these items are going to last forever. But even the manufacturer tells you, right, what the recommendation is. One of the items that I see the most that people have a hard time letting go are strollers. And as I was preparing for this interview, I was like, that's interesting. And, it has the emotional attachment, but sometimes they pay so much money, right, for this stroller or this car seat or this crib. And then it's just sitting in the garage. But it had a lifetime. They told you it was recommended for a child from the age of, right, 2 to 5, 3 to 4. So why do we think that we should get 10, 15, 25 years out of it? It served its purpose. And so I would say, from the mindset of understanding those things, the value of our time and the intended purpose and value of the item can really help us to move through this process, just with an insightful, attitude.
Yeah. When you said the stroller, I thought about a client who had the high chair. When
Yeah.
I went to them, the high chair was metal. Now, that we've progressed since the metal
Right.
was.
Right.
She's like, oh, I want to hold on to it because grandchildren are coming. And I said, I've been working with you and your husband long enough to know that when grandchildren come, you're going to buy all new things.
Yes.
And plus, this is not, doesn't meet the safety standards that it did when your child was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Your child is now in her 20s and she's living in New York and the husband was so happy. But
Yes.
then it was also what you said about the garage sales. It's like I want to recoup, but you're right,
Yes.
all the time, the energy that you put into posting something, seeing if you can get rid of it, and then if you don't get rid of it, you still have to hire somebody or a company to come and take everything. You're
Mm-hmm.
right. You need to just take a step back and okay, maybe I just need to get donated and not go through all of that. Because, you can get a lot out of donation, not just, monetarily, but also just the feeling of actually giving giving it a new life.
Absolutely. And even the power of discarding. I know that depending on our habits, it can be hard, but it can make you more of an intentional shopper, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you feel bad about it and you ask yourself why, like, did I use it? Did I get the appropriate use? Did I spend too much money? Was it quality? Even with discarding it, that power comes, that knowledge comes because now you're educated as a shopper. You're more intentional. And so it's okay whether it's a discard or a donate.
That's so true. That is so true. So, Kimberly, in all that you do, as a wife, a mother, a businesswoman, of course, probably involved in the community, how do you stay organized? What is one or maybe two things you do to really maintain order in your home or in your life?
That's a good question. So the one thing that I will say is my lifesaver, because I'm going to be honest with you, like some women, I can overcommit. I had this conversation with my husband this week, and I'm realizing that sometimes the problem is not that we have so much to do; it's that we've said yes to too many things. And so I have a buffer built into my schedule. I know that some of your listeners might be familiar with the term reset, and so maybe we do this reset right on Sunday, or we get ourselves ready for the week. I have Wednesday set as a day that I do not work outside of the home. Now, there's times that I have to, right, switch my schedule, but having that hard stop midweek really gives me the opportunity to look and see if things are going in the direction that I've planned for them, if the plans were realistic, or by, midweek, I can say, wait a minute, you said yes to too many things, Kim, right? And so let's reevaluate this. And I'm a firm believer in letting your yes mean yes, but I also believe in protecting my peace. And so with a good conscience, I'll reevaluate that. And with that buffer, do what I can to make good on those commitments, but it also gives me the opportunity to evaluate if I need to move in a different direction for the end of the week so that it does not overflow, because can just keep going if you don't stop it. So just not over scheduling, having those time slots in. Some people can't schedule a whole day, but maybe it could be ending early, right? 2 hours or starting later, just so that you have that time to adjust if something happens, because it does, right? Life happens. The other thing that we do to keep our home physically organized is that we've become religiously like decluttering. It's just something that we do because when we have less to maintain, it takes less time. And anything that we purchase, I won't say that, we say that it actually has to, I've heard the term like spark joy. Well, for us, we consider the maintenance. Is it necessary? Right? Like if you need a toaster, you need a toaster. But what is the maintenance on the item? If it goes down, can I quickly replace it? Can I quickly get someone in to fix it? How much would it cost, to replace it? And so we think about that with most of the purchases that we make.
And that's a good idea because recently I was going through my closet and I realized, I love certain types of clothes and materials, but then there's certain types of material for me that are a little high maintenance, like those wonderful 100% cotton shirts, which I
Mm-hmm.
love and they look beautiful when they're all nice and crisp and iron, but then it's a process of getting to that point. And it's like, you know
Yes.
what? I think I'm going to start looking at other types of options for me. So you're right, looking at the maintenance, but I love the way you do that midweek stop and just kind of reevaluate. And I think if a lot more people did that, then, like you said, they wouldn't feel as overwhelmed and just feel like everything's spinning out of control when it comes to the time and things like that. Well,
Yeah.
Kimberly, thank you so much for taking time out to be with the listeners. So, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. So our website is www at themodernsteward.com. There is a form that you can fill out if you'd like to work with us, but we believe in, just offering support so they could, just reach out to contact us with a question. We're also on social at Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, and we have the same, handle as well. Our bio is The Modern Steward.
And of course, listeners, there will be a direct link to Kimberly's website on the show page. So, again, I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
So, what was the one takeaway you got from my conversation with Kimberly about organizing your garage? I would love for you to post it in social media. Let me know. Let me know you're tackling your garage. Post pictures of before and after. I would love to just be on this journey with you, even if only virtually. So now I want to share some tips and Taylor's tip time on just, kind of how to organize the garage. Just some, kinds of I want to follow up with some of the strategies that Kimberly had shared with you. Number one, you definitely want to purge seasonally because a lot of times you store the seasonal decoration and decor, but also the sporting equipment as well. So sometimes as you go through seasons, your kids grow up, your interests change. So do that. And number two, clearly label containers. It's wonderful that you've got all of those beautiful storage containers, but make sure you label them because it'll make it easier not only for you, but also others to find things. Number three, repurpose items. Use food storage containers to store those little nuts and bolts and screws. And number four, use shelving. Whether you get a custom system, installed, or if you decide to just get one of those systems that you can just put together in, minutes. But use shelving because that will allow you to use that vertical space. And number five is use pegboards. Specifically, if you are a visual person and you just want to grab things, pegboards are great. So, are you ready to live an organized life? Well, consider virtual sessions. Because if you've been working on getting organized and feel overwhelmed, are you challenged by managing your time between work, home, life, maybe a business and school? Do you want to organize your life? Let's talk so I can help. I work with clients to guide them from start to finish by providing them with the details needed to clear the clutter and get organized without feeling overwhelmed and stressed. Go to my contact page and schedule a free 15-minute session. Take the steps necessary to create a life you want and start doing something today. Make sure you click the link in the show page. And of course, I always like to take a moment and to thank you. Thank you for following me on social media, for your likes, your retweets, for your sharing. Please continue to follow me. Please continue to check out my YouTube channel and subscribe as well. And also check out my website if you haven't done so lately. If you're thinking of getting your life organized, ladies, don't get overwhelmed. Join my Facebook group, Living Life Totally Organized. It is a community of women supporting each other on their journey to living life that is totally organized. It's free to join, so join today. We have all different types of discussions. Recently, we were talking about the laundry, and one of the questions, it was a poll I posted out there, is when you are doing laundry and you come across something that's got a hole, that is just stained, that's ripped and torn, what do you do with it? Because I shared that years ago, when those sheets would just get to the point where you couldn't put them on the bed anymore, my mother turned them into rags. And I would just like to know, what are some of the women in the group doing? So we do things like that. People post before and after. Someone, wanted to create a space for their son who was returning home from college. So she kind of wanted to get some new furniture, but she wanted to do it within a budget. She went to some thrift stores, found some things people had put out, gave it a new coat of paint, and it looked fabulous. Somebody else shared the before and after of what they did for the bathroom. So it's a really great community where we support each other virtually. Well, do you know what time it is? I can hear you saying, toss it Tuesday, toss it Tuesday. Well, this Tuesday, I want you to toss or recycle items, seasonal items that are in your garage that you probably will not use again. Because there are so many groups and organizations that could use some of those household items. So think about that. Toss some of those seasonal items and donate them. You can recycle, donate, give, but let's keep it moving. My app suggestion for this week is TaskRabbit. It's an American online and mobile marketplace that matches freelance laborers with local demand, allowing consumers to find immediate help with everyday tasks, including cleaning, moving, and delivery. So, I know a local realtor here uses it personally. So, TaskRabbit. And for my product suggestion for this week, I would love for you to check out my garage section on my Amazon shop. It has all different types of items that can help you organize that area. And of course, I would love to see if you take something that was in that garage and repurpose it and use it for something else. Can you share that with me? And of course, my book suggestion for this week is Garage Solutions. Do it now, do it fast, do it right. That's my book selection for this week. And my quote for this week is, a man's home is his castle, but the garage is his sanctuary. Can I say that again? A man's home is his castle, but the garage is his sanctuary. Well, I want to thank you for listening, and be sure to share this podcast with your family, your friends, and on your social media network. And again, let me know you enjoy listening to this podcast by leaving a review. And be sure to visit my website at janetmtaylor.com. So until next time, I want you to have a clutter-free day, but most of all, have an organized week. Organization is a quintessential element of a clutter-free life. Join me as we take this journey together. Along the way, we will find the necessary answers to your organizing dilemmas. My name is Janet M. Taylor, and you were listening to Got Clutter, Get Organized.